the New York Post, quote, "She was 12, I was 30. Biden leaves viewers stunned in teacher's speech." Correction, New York Post. The crowd cheers for him.
They laughed loudly.
They laugh loudly, and it's very funny when a guy makes a joke about that's a very large age gap you've got there. They say President Biden shocked viewers on his Friday speech to teachers when he recognized an audience member and told the crowd she was 12 and I was 30. Biden lit up social media with the confounding and seemingly inappropriate aside. He did not say what he did when he was 30 and the woman was a preteen. You got to say hi to me, Biden said mid-speech at the National Education Association headquarters in D.C. We go back a long way. She was 12 and I was 30. But anyway, this woman helped me get an awful lot done.
Huh.
As a 12-year-old? That's
maybe later in life.
But why would he bring that up? I don't know. What is she helping him get done?
Who is this woman anyway? This is all a mystery to me.
So there's two possibilities here. One, he's absolutely brain fried and can't even talk properly. Two, he's a very dirty, perverted, bad person.
Well, that's a fact.
That we can't even mention. And there's a lot of other activity that happened before this, whether it's the Ashley Biden diary, whether it's the bunch of creepy videos that are being censored by big tech social media, whether it's him kissing his granddaughter on the mouth 2 times, whether it's him... At least 2 times that we know on record, and him being a career politician. When you're in Washington, D.C., we know for a fact intelligence agencies use sex and use underage children as a form of extortion, as a form of manipulation. So him being in Washington, D.C. this long and so many other things that happened beforehand definitely raised some serious questions from my perspective.
I'm pulling this up right here, and hopefully this image comes. So when people are like, why do you think Joe Biden's a pedo? Well, it's like, well, here's him kissing his granddaughter on the lips in front of a public crowd.
How much time do you have?
She's definitely kissing him, too. That's
how many videos?
She kissed me. Yeah. Biden's like, hey, man, I don't know what's going on. I thought it was my wife. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the people. Look at this lady behind. She's loving it. Like, look how happy they all are. It's the weirdest thing, isn't it?
Yeah, mouth kisses is kind of a weird thing.
Am I missing something? Look, I don't know. I don't know what world y'all are from. The world I'm from, family members kissing each other on the lips is like not a thing.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I remember it when I was a kid. My grandma kissed her on the mouth once, and one time I felt like her wetness out of the between the lips, and I was like, "That's good." And it tasted like whiskey because they were drinking whiskey.
Gross.
Yeah.
But why is everybody like staring at Joe Biden kissing his granddaughter? It's not the only time he's done it, but they're all very happy about it. Like they're laughing.
He was also wasn't he referred to as Pedo Pete by somebody?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
His
also
own
a
son?
thing recently?
Right.
If you remember that as well. And you know the behavior there is very eye opening. And again, you could jump to your own assertions and conclusions, but there's a trail of behavior here that is worrisome.
Look, here's another one.
Oh, no.
Like I don't get it. Is this like a Delaware thing? People in Delaware like kiss their grandchildren on the lips?
I don't think so.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's oddly specific.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden abused Hunter. It explains all of Hunter's behavior.
It was Hunter, at least allegedly they called him Pedo Peter. I don't know where that came from, if it was like in his texts that were recovered or something.
That was like the phone backup that got released, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I've only heard. I haven't like seen. I don't even know how I would verify it if I saw it, if I would even be real or not, but it's a little disturbing if that's real.
And all the teachers are cheering for it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you'll see people
I'm
cheer
resigned to this being reality.
He's like, today we're going to get into this about, and they're like, yeah!
Oh, yeah.
You're like, what are you cheering about? Guys making noise.
When he said Trinidad Shabbat pressure, and they're like, yeah! It's like, what the? It's like, what's going on?
He hits the emotion, the tone cue, and that makes everyone clap and cheer, but it's not even a logical expression. It's very
I kind of feel like if you had a stage with Biden on it, and then his supporters on stage with him, but like you could see it, and then he said something like "Next no arrests and Batacalf care," and they all started cheering, I'd be laughing like, this is a great show. This is hilarious. These people are so dumb.
Oy.
It's the world we live in, I guess. Well, that's our president. Meanwhile, the economy is imploding. You got the market tanked. What is it? The Dow Jones fell below what it. I think when Biden first started, it was around 30,300. Now it's down to 29. So the economy is worse.
You can see it in this picture. The Dow is down. You can see the red and the arrow. And it's
look at this. That's amazing. Look at this clip.
It's right there.
As we're showing Joe Biden talking about some 12-year-old that he knew when he was 30, You can see the Dow watch showing a drop of nearly 2 percentage points. So,
yeah.
how you guys doing?
Great.
I am looking at the Dow all time. Yeah, it's tough to tell because they'll print large amounts of money that'll naturally inflate the Dow. Just because there's more capital doesn't mean the economy's doing better, though.
Well, just to put on my conspiracy hat, if I could, just for a little bit here, let me dust it off
just
here.
For a minute.
If you do look at a lot of the Biden policies, they have directly created this economic havoc that we're dealing with for the benefit of the few ruling elites. And this is why a lot of people make the assertions and theorize that maybe there is some dirt on Biden that some very powerful people have on him that they're using to, of course, influence policy in America that's not working in the best interest of the American people, working in the best interest of the select few who might have dirt on him, and they're using that dirt in order to push these policies wrecking the economy.
Maybe, but I think dirt's the wrong way to look at it. I think it's more like you can do what you want if you do as you're told. You know what I mean?
Yes, and then there could be an extortion operation. I think that's a little bit more likely. I don't know. You work in those
I think in general terms, I think it's less about stuff like that. I just think it's more that large businesses, the elite, have really significant lobbying power and donation power, and their businesses can donate, and super PACs can donate. If you think about our GDP and our success, almost all of it comes from small business, because small business, and you guys know this, you're a small business, you hire people. You're always growing. You're thinking about, how do I do more? How do I get bigger? Large business thinks about efficiency, offshoring, saving money. And so there's nobody that represents the average American, the small business owner. There's nobody that is truly putting money, time, lobbying efforts into that. And so, you end up with people that only care about, significant interests.
I wonder what Biden does when I think he sleeps most of the time, and then they wake him up and give him pills, or maybe maybe injections.
They've got big businesses very much about the stockholders, and forever it's been about stockholder value, stockholder. Now they're adding on shareholder value. Am I getting this right?
Well, that's like the Klaus Schwab thing is like planetary stakeholders. I think it's not
stakeholders. That's what it is. Now they're going from shareholders, which are the stock owners, to stakeholders as well, which is who has stake in this company doing well, which honestly is up for debate. Like, if it's a company that wants to clean the water in Portugal, then all of the Portuguese citizens become a stakeholder in that company doing well, and then they can. I don't know enough about it to start going off on. I've actually been starting to read Klaus Schwab's recent book, and I'll definitely let you know more. But it's, it's a way to manipulate to get corporations like ESG is like, are you doing well for your stakeholders as well as your shareholders? Are you making the world a better place for your stakeholders?
The ESG stuff is the Communist Party of America. So you have the Communist Party of China, and what they do is they get an office in all of these companies. You open a company, they got to have an office there. And they control if you're in line with the message. And at some point, some U.S. interests were like, man, that's a good idea. We could totally control everything if we just forced this. So you had this guy, Vivek Ramaswamy. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, he was ragging on Disney because he was like, you're doing things that are hurting the company for ESG stuff. You're like, stop doing that. And then he even called out State Street, Vanguard, and was it BlackRock?
I think so. Yeah,
he was like, just because they're big shareholders doesn't mean you do what they say. They represent people, and the people don't want any of this stuff. But here's the thing, man. Those three, like they own basically everything. They've got huge percentages of basically everything. Super woke, ESG. They're trying to control. It's you know what it is. It's kind of like, I don't know if coup is the right word, because it's not like they're storming the gates and taking over, but they're definitely slowly taking over everything, and they're doing it through the private sector. And the public sector, to be honest, but they're going into the private sector through ESG, as basically the Communist Party of China does, and they're getting their offices, they're getting their influence, and then if you don't do as you're told, you get banned, you get the axe, you get shut out of society. We can't let them gain more control. Simply put, got to fight back.
How do you do that?
Start small businesses. Start your own business.
Make your own TV shows.
Incorporate.
Mock Disney as they collapse.
Yes.
So he's telling Disney, he's like, you got to stop this. And I'm kind of like, no, wait, don't. Like, let Disney rot itself to the core. Okay, we'll make our own show with Ian.
That's right.
And
No hookers.
and Bucko.
Yeah, we were just
That's
talking
right.
today about a lot of content is like people are creating like Christian content. Like there's PureFlix, which is starting to ramp up. Their Hallmark has their own Daily Wire.
PureFlix? I never heard of
PureFlix.
PureFlix.
Been around
Yeah,
since
it's Christian
2005.
Netflix.
But people don't want to be bashed over the head with it. So you've got to figure out what's the next phase. And I think the next phase is sci-fi that takes into account like the cosmology and this new physics where we're finding like cosmic microwave background radiation that kind of looks like neurons in the brain. And you're like, wow, maybe there is a God. And if you can kind of take people in that direction, you know, you can kind of bring God into the conversation and kind of ground it in like morality, but still have cool sci-fi message on top of that.
I mean, the whole thing kind of depresses me because I remember there was a time where it wasn't like right content or left content. You know, it was content. You know, like a movie or a show or whatever, you know, was about, you know, whatever the topic of the day was, but it wasn't like you watched a show or a host or whatever because they had a specific view. It was, you know, you came on, you had discussions about complex topics and people got into it and they could disagree and that was acceptable. And I definitely feel like, and you know, full disclosure, like I said earlier, I'm moderate. I do feel like if you're a conservative, you know, you have fewer opportunities to have your voice heard. And you see it in businesses. Like I have friends that own, you know, whether they're Second Amendment businesses or 2A adjacent. Like I have a friend that owns a company called Fieldcraft Survival, Mike Glover.
Oh yeah, we love Mike.
He was
Mike-
on the show
Yeah.
a few months
Mike's
ago.
Mike's amazing. I mean, he's one of the best people I've ever met. And, you know, he's essentially, you know, targeted as almost a domestic terrorist. And it's insane. This is a guy that, you know, served, you know, in the special forces. You know, I have not found a single human being that doesn't like him. And, you know, the special operations and military community is a lot like a sorority where people like to talk about each other. You know, there's a lot of that. Like everybody's got a little bit of a beef with everybody. No one has said anything about Mike Glover. Everybody's like, he's the best dude on planet Earth. And his content is constantly, you know, pulled down. And he's just telling people how to survive in a crisis.
And didn't the feds attack him and label him like a domestic
Yeah,
threat? What was the story? Explain it to people, because that's a big one.
Yeah, he is on a list, like Fieldcraft Survival, Mike Glover, they're on a list as like potential domestic terrorists. And like this guy would never do anything against this country. Like, I mean, he is a, you know, and people throw this term around for people that don't deserve it. Like he's a true patriot. I mean, you know, he's a big part of Tim Kennedy's life, who's, you know, been a friend of mine for years. You know, I know him personally. All of my friends have worked with him, or, you know, whether in the military or business. And this is a guy that's like, he owns a survival company. So he teaches you, you know, to shoot, to hunt, to, you know, dress wounds, to live in the wild. That's what he loves doing. So that's what he teaches people to do. Like, how do you survive in the worst possible situation? And, yeah, like, you know, he's been flagged, and it's wild to me. Like, there's no undoing it either.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.